Good morning Year 6 and welcome to week 3 of your online learning. So today we are going to be looking at what are subjects and objects in order to be able to look at the active and passive voice. So first task is first. Pause the video and see if you can write definitions for subjects and objects. Maybe you could give an example in a sentence. Okay, so the subject is the person, noun phrase, pronoun. Remember, if we said she, that's a pronoun, or thing, which does the verb in a clause. So she is kicking the ball. She is the subject because she is doing the verb. She is doing the kicking. The object is the person, noun phrase, pronoun, or thing, which usually comes directly after the verb. Okay, showing what the verb is acting on. So she is kicking the ball would be the object, okay? And the action is the kicking, the verb. Okay, and you can see how ball, which is the object, comes directly after the verb kicking, okay? Really important to remember. Okay, so you need to identify these parts of the sentence. So these are really simple sentences. Can you identify the subject and the object? Pause, maybe write the subject and the object down in each sentence and then play the video and we'll see if you are right. So he is the subject and me is the object. Nicole is the subject, so Nicole there is the person, okay, whereas he was a pronoun in the last sentence, and all the people are the object. All right, and then the last one, we all, okay, so again it's a pronoun, and then love skiing. Love is the verb, so the object comes directly after the verb, which is skiing, okay. So have a look underneath. Okay, we've got sentences like he makes too much noise, honestly I don't like it, they were always dancing, he sang to me at dinner, Sophie ate it quickly, Amia gave it to her, now we live in Wales. Sort these simple sentences into the correct places in the table below. So you've got a pronoun as the subject, so remember that was the start of your sentence, the purple on the last slide, okay. Pronoun as an object. So remember after the verb, after the action, pronoun as subject and object. Now remember your pronouns are he, she, we, they, it. Okay, so have a look, pause the slide and give that a go. Okay, let's have a look. Now we are looking at the active and passive voice, okay? So we've looked at what makes up simple sentences, which will then help us to look at the active and passive voice. Now you're also looking at this tomorrow, so don't panic if you don't understand it today. So what are the active and passive voice? Can you maybe have a go at writing a definition down for each of them? So pause the slide, think about what that word active mean and what that word passive means and give that a go. Okay, so let's look at the active voice first. So the active voice, the subject performs the action, which is the verb, remember the doing word, to the object. Okay, so she is kicking the ball. She is doing the action, she's doing the kicking to the ball, to the object. So that would be the active voice. Okay, your passive voice, the thing that would normally be the object gets turned into the subject through the use of the passive form of the verb. They often include a prepositional phrase starting with by. Now don't worry, that's quite a complicated definition. Don't expect you to get your head around it straight away. We're going to look at some examples to help you. Okay, so in order to be able to use the active and passive voice, you've got to be able to identify the parts of the sentence, okay? So this is why we did that little warm-up at the start, and then again, we're just going to refresh that here. You need to underline or identify the subject, the verb, which is also known as the action here, and the object of the sentence, okay? So the plane is boarded by the family. The damage was caused by the storm. Isaac threw a ball at the window. The magician pulled a rabbit from the hat. Helen practiced her recorder every day. The flowers were grown by my nan. Okay, have a look, pause the slide, see if you can do the subject, the verb and the object for each sentence. Okay, the plane is your subject, your action, boarding, to board, to get on, okay, the plane, and the object is the family. Now you can see here on that first sentence, year 6, that the plane is boarded by the family, okay? So it used to be, if it was in the active voice, the family boarded the plane, okay? But because it's the passive, you've changed that action around, okay, to make it the passive voice. The damage was caused by the storm. Well, damage is your subject. Caused, to do something, to make something happen, is the verb. And again, by the storm. Okay, that is again passive. Isaac threw a ball at the window. So Isaac is your subject. Threw is your action. Ball is your object. Magician is your subject. Pulled is your action or verb. Rabbit is your object. Helen is your subject. Practiced is your verb. Notice it's with an S, yeah? The verb of practice is with an S. The noun of practice is with a C, okay? Like a GP practice. Recorder is object. Okay, flowers, subject. Grown, action, verb. Nan, object. And again, you can see here that this last one is also in the passive voice. The flowers were grown by my nan instead of my nan grew the flowers. Okay. So yes, this is what we were just talking about. We've noticed the preposition by in a few of these sentences, and that suggests that it's in the passive voice, year 6. So that's the difference. Okay, if you look at the ones that don't have by, you'll be able to spot the differences, okay, between the active and the passive voice. So now you're going to sort these sentences into the correct places in the table below. So I'll give you the sentences and then pause the slide. The plane is boarded by the family. So these are the same sentences as we've just looked at, okay? And we've gone through. See if you can put them into the active and passive voice now. Okay, so active. The magician pulled a rabbit from the hat. Isaac threw a ball at the window. Helen practiced her recorder every day. The plane is boarded by the family. There's that clue, by. Okay, the damage was caused by the storm. Again, there's the clue, by. And the flowers were grown by my nan. So they've got that word by, that prepositional phrase, which will give you the clue as to whether it's active or passive. Okay, so I'm going to click on a square and you're going to write an active sentence about the picture. Pause the slide. Okay, so what is he doing? Okay, once you've done that one, we've got this one. And then this one, what is that person doing? Think about subject, verb, object. Okay. And then one more. There we go. So once you've written those sentences, remember they're in the active voice, you can restart the lesson. Okay, so is it possible to change a sentence from the active voice? So you've just written 5 sentences in the active voice. Can we change them to the passive? Okay, or from the passive to the active. So it's important that you do not change the tense, of the sentence. Okay, so if it was he is playing with the girl, okay, you need to keep it in that present tense. Okay, so have a go at altering these sentences. So this is the first one for you. On the plane, the lioness chased an antelope. Now the top sentence is the active voice. On the plane, an antelope was chased by the lioness. Notice you've still got the past participle of the verb to chase. It's still chased. Okay, it's still in the past. Have a go at this one. Pause the slide. Harry ate sandwiches for lunch. Sandwiches were eaten by Harry for lunch. Okay, notice we've got that by in again. All these passive voices have by in. The carrots are always eaten by my brother. My brother always eats carrots. So that one, the first one, was in the passive voice already. Okay, and you had to change it into the active voice. Again, don't panic if we're not sure. We've got another lesson on this and extra practice tomorrow. Okay, read these passive sentences and have a think about what you notice about them. So looking at the first one, we'll go through the first one for you. The jewellery was stolen. What do you notice? Okay, what maybe is there something missing? The bicycle was ridden, the present was opened. Let's have a look. Bicycle was ridden, present was opened. What is missing from there? What's different to what we were looking at the start? Okay, they all have the action and a subject, but they don't have the object. Okay, sometimes that by phrase can be removed and the sentence will still make sense. Okay, so think about your main and subordinate clause. We can remove that subordinate clause and your main clause will still make sense on its own. It's a similar thing that if you remove that by, so for example, the carrots were eaten by my brother, the carrots were eaten. If you remove that by my brother, we still know that they were eaten. That still makes sense on its own. So we'll do the same, but this time you're going to try and write passive sentences. If you need to put that by phrase in, that's absolutely fine. Have a go, maybe some with the by phrase in and some without. So here's your first picture. Ooh, what is that girl doing? Here's your second picture. Very appropriate right now. And again, this is what you guys should be doing. Maybe not in your school uniform though. And this one. And last one. Ooh, looks like they're baking a cake. Okay. So here are some photos. Let's have a go at writing these in the active voice. Okay, so think about your simple sentences, subject, verb, object. The children enjoyed climbing during their school camp. So this is a bit more of an extended sentence, got that word during to extend it, okay? A bit more than a simple sentence. Have a go at writing a sentence for the next one. You can make it a more complex sentence if you can. They spent the day kayaking down the river. Okay, see if that's similar to what you came up with. Remember, it's the active voice. Now can you do the same for the photos, but remember the passive voice, to think about what you need to remember, what rules you need to follow. Okay, tasty cupcakes were baked by my aunt for my birthday party. Again, we've got that by, that prepositional phrase in. The water balloons were blown up by my brother for the water fight. Okay, again, they've both used that by phrase. Don't worry if you haven't. Okay, if you're confident it's still in the passive voice, that's absolutely fine. Quick quiz then. Which sentence is written in the passive voice? Have a think. Write down your answer. Yeah, the tasty meal was cooked by my mum. Okay, we've got that by phrase in, which gave us a massive clue. Second, underline the objects in these active sentences. So you might need to pause. You don't have to write the sentence out and then underline them. You could just write the word that's the object for you guys. So have a think. Okay, we've got tree, coach, and lunch. Okay, they were the objects. And question 3, rewrite these sentences in the passive voice. So you can pause the slide at any point, guys, and write these down so you don't get the answers too quickly. Again, remember they've got these by phrases in. Excellent. You've now got some activity sheets to fill out. There are 3 activity sheets. I'm sure they're in the order of green, blue, red. So whichever colour you are, make sure you do the right sheet. If you do more, it's not a problem, okay, but I just make sure that you're doing the right level for you. So green will be the first sheet, blue you'll scroll down to the second sheet, and red you'll scroll down to the third sheet. Okay, well done, Year 6.